Hi, this is Janet. I'm gonna show you an overview of the Coach theme. After the installation, you're gonna see you have several sample posts. If you can see, the blog posts, they don't use Elementor at all. Okay, when you go to the website and you go to the blog, let's go to one of the posts. It is already formatted with Elementor. The template is on the theme builder. However, when you create your post, you're not going to use Elementor because it's going to add extra CSS code and more load to your web page, and you don't want that. You want your pages to be faster, not slower, and the more posts you have, then your website is going to be bigger and bigger. So if you want to create a post, let's say you just click add post, you give it a title, and you put some content, and when you want to your title, just highlight it and click heading. Remember that the title itself is always heading 1. So when you are doing more titles in your post, make sure you start with heading 2. When there are more irrelevant titles, you go higher in number. So this is a sample of the number 2, and let's make this one number 3. And you're gonna see that it's gonna become smaller. And all you have to do is assign a feature image. That's very important. Let's take, for example, let's take this one. Okay, I see the feature image here, and I don't have to do anything else. Just assign your category. Let's say this is training, and I will click publish, and that's it. So now let's look at the new post. If I go and refresh the page here, right now I'm on achieving goals, but here's my new post. I'm going to click on it, and you can see everything is formatted automatically, but everything will be formatted. So for example, if you want to include an image, an inline image here, all you have to do is place the cursor. Let's say we want an image here before this text. So I put the cursor there, and then I click on add media. Let's add something. Let's do this image. So once you have your image inserted, you can click on the image, and then you can change the alignment of that. The first one will push the text to the side. This one is to the right, etc., etc. And if you want to edit the image, you just click here and you can crop it and all that stuff. So let's update here. And let's go back to the page and refresh the page, the post. And you will see I have now the inline image here as part of my post. Okay, it's very, very easy. All right, I just wanted to show you that. Now under pages, you will see the main pages, the about, the contact, home, journal, services, and temp. All these pages were created in the theme builder. But what you're gonna do, you're gonna go to the theme builder, and you will see all the pages here. And for example, let's open the home page. I'm gonna click on the home page and then click edit. And here is the page where you're gonna use to change the graphics or anything that you want to update. For example, the background, this watermark with the name. All you have to do is click on the section and then go to the background, click on the section and go to styles, background, and then click here and then upload your new image. And I have left you the PDF file so that you can change the background, that background watermark, to whatever you want. If not, you can use any free image editor There is one online that is very similar to Photoshop. You go to pixlr.com/edit. It has almost all the same features of Photoshop. On this image, you see that when I'm scrolling, it moves this picture, and that's because I had turned on a feature to scroll. It's under Advanced Motion Effects, and it's on the scrolling effect. And with the vertical scroll, that's what I have on. I use the default speed, which is 4, and then from 0 to 100% of the scrolling. So it's going to keep moving as long as all this area is in the screen. That's in case you want to turn it off. Again, another section with a full image, you go to Style and then change the image. This image, in order to make the font visible, it has a background overlay, and it's a purple. It's one of the color, the primary color. It's a dark purple. I lowered the opacity to 62, otherwise it will cover. It's actually a gradient. As you can see, if I turn it on fully, the gradient, the darkest area is in the center. And I did that on purpose because that way it will increase the contrast with the text. And I didn't really want it to obscure the rest of the image, but it's a nice effect. You see how it goes lighter, and then it goes with the font itself. It's easier to read. Now, this card is made out of a loop. When I first designed this in Adobe XD, I really liked the cards the way I had them here, but Elementor wouldn't let me customize this the way I wanted, with this border and all that. I wanted the tags also with this background, and it wouldn't let me, and I couldn't have the image as a circle. So I started researching, and I found a free plugin that allows me to do a loop. I know that now Elementor is going to implement a loop feature, but still doesn't have the ability to create these circle images and that sort of things, and have a different background. Yes, you can move all the pieces around. For example, with Elementor loop feature, you can put the title on the top, the image at the bottom, but that's it. It doesn't allow you to do much more than that. Hopefully, as they build that feature, it's going to change. But in my case, I wanted to have it like this because that's the way I design it, and I control all the features here. If it was a blank web page, that you can change everything. So I'm going to show you how this was created and where to find it. And right now I am displaying. If I click here on the pencil, you can see that it's calling the loop template that I created. I call it block loop template. It's the free plugin. You can go pro if you want, but it's not really needed. The grid and everything, you can customize it down here under columns. If I want to add more columns, let's say 6, they're going to pile up here because I have posts per page 3, and they are kind of all together. But if I increase this number, you can see them next to each other. Okay. And but you can control how many and the width and all that. It's just that I had created this section with those limitations on purpose, just to display 3. So I have 3 columns. If I make this bigger, then it will wrap if I want to, but I didn't want that because then it's going to be too busy for the home page. But I use this same loop in the block for the archive. And you will see that it has more than 3. You're going to see that. And this one that it's hidden is used for the tablet. And the reason is because if I display 3 cards in the tablet, they're going to be smooshed together, as you saw a few minutes ago. So what I did, I created a copy of this that has the 3 posts, because I always wanted 3 posts on the home page. But then on the tablet, I wanted 2. But if I change it here, it's not giving me settings for how many posts per page. I can change how many columns for the tablet and for the home page and everything. But as far as the post, it was going to be 3 on the desktop, on the tablet, and on the phone. And for that reason, I had no choice but to duplicate it and then hide one on the desktop and use the other ones on the tablet. So now on the tablet, it's going to display 2, and I have up to 4. If I click here, you can see that I have 2 columns and 4 posts maximum. And then when I go back to this one, to the mobile, it's going to use the same as the desktop, because automatically it goes into 1 column. And then I'm hiding the one that I use for the tablet. So, but if you need to make a change to these cards, all you have to do is go to the loop. You don't have to change anything here. This one stays the same. The only thing you're going to change here, if you want, is just the background, the watermark. Same as here, you can change the buttons and everything by clicking here. Let's make it darker. Yeah, that's much better. There's 3 types of, or 2 types actually, of buttons as a global. Let's say I want to insert another button. Let's go to global. I'm going to pull this button here, and it's going to ask me if I want to edit globally, which I don't recommend unless you want to change the entire website's buttons. Okay, because the majority of them is using this look. Once you insert a button, you want to change the content. So yes, you're going to unlink it so that you can change what it says. Otherwise, if you leave it unlinked and you change this one, you're going to be changing the global. So every instance that says explore my work is going to be changed to whatever you're typing now. So make sure you unlink it and click on link, and then you change the content here. And now this one acts independent, but at least using the global, you get the look, and then you just unlink it and change the text. Let me show you the other ones. This is a yellow one. This is similar to this one, and it's center. But you can change it and make them global if you want, okay? I have to unlink it if I want to delete it. Otherwise, it won't even let me delete it. Okay, and those are the settings, the general settings for the buttons, with a solid outline of 1 pixel only, because 2 would be too much, calling too much attention. It's more feminine like that with 1 pixel. And the radius only 3. Sometimes my mouse has an automatic scroll and changes my settings. And then just click update your page so that your template is saved. And try to, when you select your pictures, try to make them the same type of layout. For example, this one is portrait. It's taller than it's wider. And because that way you keep the format. If you select a landscape photo, then it might be cut off, then you have empty space and all that. So it's better if you follow, the format of the pictures. Same as here, use portrait pictures. And they are set to cover. When you go to the pictures, set to cover, so that when it's filling up the column, it takes the whole space of that column without distorting the image. And this is a transparent image. I could make the background the same color as here, but what happened is that it's sliding from the bottom to the top. And if it's not transparent, you're gonna see a square here while it's moving up, and it doesn't look good. So whatever image you put here, make sure it's transparent in case you want to change it, of course. And what I wanted to change was the text color to the primary. Now it's better now, it shows up much better. This is a heading, so if you're going to type more than that, you can use the paragraph widget instead. And you can change your background, that full image. And this is the footer, but it have to be changed with the footer template. Okay, so let me update this. Okay, and that's for this page. Let's go to the theme builder. Now we're back in the theme builder, and let me show you, this is the loop I was talking about, which you can find under this section, and click edit. And this is how it looks like. It's right now it's taking the whole space of the page, the whole width, so you don't have to worry. You decide how wide you want things to be. For example, when I was doing the background for the tags, I added some space to make sure that it doesn't matter how wide the card was, I was always going to have some space that looks white all around. And this is the white space that is adding. So it doesn't matter how wide this is, I'm going to retain the same relative space. So that it looks indented like this. I even contacted the people from Astra, I contacted the people from Elementor, and none of them could help me with this. They didn't have the feature. So they just said that maybe they will implement it in the future. So I sent them my card so that they could take a look at it. And so I'm happy that they are going to implement a loop in Elementor. It's just that I'm not sure if they're going to have all the features and flexibility like I have here with this plugin, because I can create whatever I want. It doesn't have to be like this. You can put anything in this page and have a loop. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be a blog post for that matter. So, but this is where you would make your changes. Let's go back to the theme builder. Let's go to the header. Now the header you can change is actually the menu as you specify also in the customizer settings. So what you're doing here in this template, it's just for the placement of the areas here on the header, or if you want to add a button or whatever you want to add. But as far as pulling the information, this comes from the menu that was created. As it's specified here, it's the primary menu. And like I said, for the logo, it's pulling it from the site logo specified at the customizer settings. And here's where I added the link so that when people click on the logo, it goes to the home page. And that way you can eliminate the word, this link home, and just start it with about, services, etc. without displaying home. Now on the tablet and mobile is different. It has a hamburger. This is a custom hamburger. So I edited and assigned the primary menu to it. So when you click on it, you will see the menu here. And you can edit the hover under this area that says tablet. That's where you're going to change your options and how it looks when you hover and what you want it to do. That's where you're going to change it. And it's the same for the footer. And now for the mobile, same thing. I decided to put it on the side and have the logo smaller. That way it doesn't take that much room when you're looking at the content. Now let's look at the footer. Footer section. Again, this is a menu, footer menu. And it's assigned to a different menu name. That's where you're going to add your pages to. I don't have it to add pages automatically because you want to control the pages that you want to display. You don't want every single page displayed in the menu. So all you have to do is go to the primary menu and to the footer menu and add or take away any page that you want. This widget, you can change the links. When you click here on Facebook, for example, you can put your Facebook link here and change the color if you want. But don't change the colors individually. You go here to style instead and you change them all here. If I change them now to purple, they will go purple. And you can see these two didn't change because they were changed individually. So to correct that, for example, let's go to Facebook, it's clear, and now you see that it turned purple as a global color. I'm going to do the same with Twitter, and I'm going to get rid of this and clear it, and now I can change all of them from the style menu. So don't touch the color here, just go to style and then change them all at the same time globally, like that, you see? Because you don't want to have different colors there for those images. And this is a simple form that is come from Elementor, and it only has one item on the form. And this is the placeholder for your email, for the email that the person is going to enter. Whatever you write here is what is going to appear here. You can add another line if you want, and another line if you want. It's up to you. And here under button is where you're going to change whatever it says here. You're going to change it here. Now under styles, obviously that's where you're going to change the font and everything. In here and the typography, you can make it bigger or smaller, it's up to you. That's it for the footer. Back to the theme builder. The 404 page, that's the page that people are gonna get if they mistype a page name or something that you don't have. That's what it's gonna display. For example, if I go here and I'm type garbage, I'm gonna get that 404 page. And this is what people will see. That's the 404 page. You can change the picture by clicking there. Same thing as before. Let me show you the single post. That's the one we were talking about. This is what is formatting your post page, the single post page. And here you have the sidebar that you see on every post page, which you can edit individual items in any section here. The social media, you click on it, and it's the same widget as I use in the footer. It's just that I changed the colors of the background. So this is where you're going to update the look of the post page, but not the post itself, which is this area here. This you cannot change. All this area comes from the post page. This is what you type. The rest is being pulled automatically. This is the feature image and the title of the post, and you can remove this if you want. You can change all this. You can add an item. Let's say you want to add author. You will click there and then it will add the author. Okay, if you don't want the author, you can just delete it. And here you can change, you can put any call to action and change the image. I created this image already with the button because I didn't want to put, I can put another button here and then have it appear on top of the image and all that, but then it will be more code. And I didn't want to put that code, extra code unnecessarily. I just make the image clickable by changing where you want the person to go. So if you have a specific page, a landing page, for example, or a course, just change your picture and make it look like if it has a button like I did here, and then just change the link, and whenever they click on it, they will go to that page. So for example, if you want to change so that people know they are rolling over, you can make some settings here. For example, let's make the opacity lower, 86. Now you see that when I roll over, the image is changing. You can have a transition too. You don't even have to change that. So let's say I have it 100%. Now the color doesn't change. I can change here. They got really weird things. Just grow. That's much better. I like that. So I'm gonna leave it that way. That way when people roll over, it's gonna move. You see, you don't have an extra button there to do the same thing and then create another widget here, then have the widget move up into this area and make sure it's aligned for the mobile and the tablet and all that. So you avoid all those problems if you just have a picture with a button on it and that it looks like a button and you have the picture already there, and then just do these tricks and it will save loading time when the post is loading. And here are the blog post for most recent posts, which you can change. You can have more than 4. When you click here, you can go here to content and you can have how many posts you want to appear. Okay, that's where you control. If you have a lot of content that takes a lot of room, then just leave it at 6, 5 or 6. Right now I have it at 4 because I don't have that much of a content. And here are the categories, and this is again this same menu item is pulling the categories. So these are the 3 menus: the one that I use for the header that I mentioned before, the one for the footer, and then I created another menu and I call it categories, and I made it pull just the categories. That way I can have here all the categories appearing automatically. Something I wanted to show you. If you go here to the comments section and you click on the pencil, you go to the options, then go to advanced, and when you go to custom CSS, I added this CSS that takes care of the boundaries, the size of this text box. Without, let's see how it looks. If I take this off and update the page, look how big it is. And your page, every time someone is gonna look leave a comment, that's what they're gonna see, which is ridiculous. So with this CSS, so make sure that when you do all the import, it's still there. Okay, click update, and now let's refresh the page, and now we have a decent box for the comments. I just wanted to show you that. Now, part of the templates that I saved, I have this other look that I saved for you. You have the option of changing it to the other one, the one with the circle. If you want to keep the same look, that's what I would do. But I wanted to show you this. That's a different option. So these cards is using the block widget, and it's using the card. I just added different options to look like this when you roll over. Okay, that's part of the add-ons. But you can change it for the rounded ones if you want. Let's say, let's do something just to show you. I'm gonna add another one here on top. What you can do is go to this post, the regular post, and that's how it looks normally. But now, by clicking on the pencil, we're gonna change it. Click on custom, and then here select the template that I created, and that way you have your posts instead of this other look. I just wanted to show you this look. We're gonna leave this because it matches the look, the overall look, but I wanted to show you that you can change the look of the cards by changing the template as I've saved them. So now let's go to the theme builder again and the journal page. Let's click edit. This is the journal page. Again, you can change the background, like I said, by clicking on here and changing the background image. This is a slider which is pulling the featured posts. If you assign as a category the category name feature, that post is going to appear here, and this is going to scroll through 3 of them. You can stop the scrolling and have them the people click on this to to move through them, or have them automatically as it is right now. But at this, whatever you mark featured, that's what it's going to appear here. And then the rest of the posts that are not marked featured, have different categories, are going to appear here. So for example, this one, we have to exclude the feature because we have them there. So in that case, we have to edit the categories. So you go here to query. It's including all category, all posts, but now we want to exclude the features. Term feature. You have to type it. Elementor should have, by clicking here, have the list of your categories, but no, you have to remember the name, so you can type it here. So now, as you can see, the feature image is gone from this list. It's not displaying anymore because we have them here. All right, so I'm going to update this. Now that I have updated this page, for example, I want to make sure I go to Theme Builder and I go to the journal again. And now from here, I'm going to keep the backup. So I'm going to export it to my computer. And I have my JSON file here. Okay, that's how you save your pages. Okay. Okay, so these are all the pages that we have available. I'm going to show you now the theme customizer. So we go to Appearance, Customize, and this is the theme, the Astra theme customizer. Astra has a way of creating and building the header. For example, if you go to Header Builder, you can create your own widgets and then move them here to different places, and they will pop up here. In this case, I didn't use this option. I went directly and created the header the way I wanted. I didn't want to put any buttons or anything, so I made it simple. But you can create your own widgets and have them display here and just replace this header if you want. Under Global, you're going to find the typography. These are presets, but I didn't use any presets, so don't click on them or it's going to change your entire website to those fonts. But you can find the fonts that I use here under Body. The body copy is Lato, which is this one here. And then the headings is Laura, which is this one here. The font that you put here, so in this case I use Laura, so all of these heading 1, 2, 3 are going to use Laura. You just change the size of that heading in particular, and that's what I did here. I just changed the size, but it's using the same heading font. So this is the typography. Under colors, you're going to find the theme colors. So I put them here as a global palette, but then assign them to different areas, the borders, for example, which we can change. If you want the dark purple, you can change that, and it will change everything that has to do with borders. You're going to change it to this color. The links, this is the hover. In case you use a link, let's say on the blog post, you have a word that you want to have as a link, it's going to appear this dark purple, going to change color, and you can change it to whatever you want. You can make it pink or whatever. Let's polish this. Now let's go to container. The container, the pages are not using sidebar at all, unless you want to make a new one with a sidebar. But you don't change anything here because if you change the default layout and put a sidebar, it's going to screw up the entire website because it's going to add a sidebar to every single page. So it is better to have them like that with a full width and contain without a sidebar. And whenever you want to create a sidebar, you just add a column and put your widgets there. Let's go back. The buttons, that's where you change your buttons, how you want them to look. I end up changing them later on to this. That way all the buttons, when you create them, they're gonna have the same. I'm gonna have the same settings. And the border and the radius was 3, not 33, 3. The font, you can change it, it was letter, so that stays the same. Now the background color, the default is this yellow that you see here. And when you roll over, is the pink, which is this color here. That's for rollovers. And the text color is the dark purple, except that if you roll over, it's going to turn white. Now the blog, this is how the layout that I chose is full width, contain with sidebar on. That's for the blog. All right, and the single post, full contain with the sidebar. The footer has a builder, same way as I mentioned with the header. I'm not using it. I created my own, but you're welcome to create your widgets here and place them in this area and then eliminate this one. Site identity, this is where you're going to put your logo. You're going to upload your logo. It's right here. That's this logo here. This one. It's hard to see because it's transparent. It's yellow. This yellow with transparency so that the background color shows up. But it's there. Okay? So all you have to do is click here and add your logo. And the maximum width is 220. Okay, and I think the height is 90 pixels. This is turning off the site title and the tagline that you enter in WordPress because you don't need that thing appearing on every single page. So here in site icon, you're gonna add your favicon. I don't have one, I didn't load one, haven't made it yet, but maybe by the time you receive these files, there is one. You upload it here, site identity. Okay, so the logo and the favicon, you will put it in here, upload from here. Menus, you can do this here for the main menu, secondary, and the footer and the primary. So here is the primary assigned to the primary menu. That's the one I mentioned you that I created as a primary. You have to assign it as a primary. The footer menu is the name, and these are the pages included in the footer. And the categories, the one that I mentioned that I created with these categories. If you add more categories, just go here and add the rest. You can add them here or you can add them at WordPress menu. It's the same thing. Okay. The only difference is because it's already assigned here and it exists as a secondary menu, that means you can edit it from WordPress. But if you the first time create the menu in WordPress without assigning them on the customizer, then your menu won't appear. They have been assigned already, the primary, the current menu, and the footer menu, which is down here. Now you can go to WordPress menu and edit them over there if you want, instead of going into the customizer. And this is where you create the widgets for the header, the footers, and all that you want to create. You do that here and then place them in the header or footer if you want. And here in the homepage setting is where you assign homepage to the home and the post to whatever page. In this case, is using the journal. This is the same menu that appears in WordPress, in the WordPress settings. This is just a shortcut. And here, additional CSS. Make sure this CSS appears in your customizer, okay? Now, when you go to Astra's options here, Astra options, you're gonna get a display like this. Depending on how you imported this website, because I'm gonna give you two options, you can manually do it and use the kit to import the Elementor pages, or restore from a backup. If you restore from a backup, you don't have to worry about anything. Everything will be exactly as I have it here. Even the usernames that you have to update for your own, because it's going to have mine. So you will have an exact copy. But if you did it manually, then you have to import the customizer settings so that everything appears as I have it here. If you did it manually, then you will have to activate all these options manually. A way to importing the customizer settings is by these options here. And it comes from a plugin from the makers of Astra to import and export the settings, which I'm going to include in your package. I have included it. So you will import it by choosing the file here and clicking import. To activate your license, it's up here on the Astra Pro license. I had already activated here. But chances are you're going to have to activate yours with your domain. Let's go to the plugins, because I want to show you the plugins. And this was turned on whenever you click on activate on the Astra options, the window that we were just a few minutes ago. It sometimes has to turn on some plugins, and those are these extra files that you see. Okay, this is the Astra Pro. This is the one that has the options, the extra options on the Astra theme and some other widgets for Elementor. The classic editor, this is optional, but I really like it because it's really straightforward to type your blog post. It's the easiest and less confusing. You start, I don't know if you use the other editor that is like blocks. In fact, this one gives you the option to turn the block editor or the classic editor. And if you choose yes, then when you go to the posts and you roll over here, you're going to have the options of editing with the classic editor or with the block editor. But since I only turn on the classic editor, I can just click edit, and this is the classic editor. I just wanted to show you that. You can install that plugin if you want. This was turned on by the Astra options also, and that way you can search on the customizer, or you can deactivate it if you want. Now this LA Custom Skins, that's the plugin that I use to create the blog post, the custom blog post that I was talking about with the circle for the feature image. This is the one, the great plugin that allows me to do that. And this is the plugin I was talking about to import and export the customizer settings from Brainstorm Force, which is the maker of Astra. This plugin, every time I upload an image, it compresses it. This I have it installed. It's up to you if you want to install it. It has great plugins, that's why I have it here. And this turns on the SVG support so that you can upload SVG files. And this is the ultimate add-ons for Elementor, which you have to activate with the license that I'm going to give you. And this plugin is the one that allowed me to create my own scroll to top icon. The icon, this icon, I did it with that little plugin instead of using the Astra plugin because it didn't let me make changes to it, not too many changes. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. From Elementor, I assume that you know that by going to Tools, that's where you're going to find the Import Export Kit. And this is for what you're going to use to import the kit. I'm going to have a separate video, not necessarily from this theme, but it works the same when you go to import the theme kit. That way you can watch that video. And under general, when you are editing your templates, not when typing a blog post, but if you're editing the templates themselves on the theme builder, just make sure that you constantly click on regenerate files and data, because that will update the CSS files. What happened is at some point when I was creating the cards for the blog post, it wasn't displaying and I didn't know why at the time. So I talked to Elementor and they told me to do that. So I got into the habit of every time I make some changes to make sure that it displays correctly, I regenerate the data here and then click Save Changes. And then when you refresh your browser, it's going to display correctly. Under Elementor settings, I have these two options, Posts and Pages on, but you can turn the custom layouts if you want to create other custom layouts. Now under Experiments, this is important because this theme is using the Flexbox, so make sure it's active. I heard that now it's in beta, but they haven't updated this, so it's more safe to use, and this template uses the containers. I actually have everything on, never had any problem at all. And that's about it. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.